Okay, now let us see the experimentation. So as part as first we will have to initialize the hypervisor. So try to get to know this is where in this VMware workstation, we are going to run the hypervisor. So this is what the hypervisor we are using, VMware ESXi. So let me switch on that ESXi first. Okay, as I said already, so you can have either it can be bare metal ESXi, which is a hypervisor. It can be host-based hypervisor where you'll be having that on the operating system. So as of now, we are using the host-based, which is the hypervisor, which is placed above the operating system. So my operating system is the Windows. So on this operating system, I'm placing the hypervisor. So to place that hypervisor, I'm using the VMware workstation. Okay. So this is where I just started my hypervisor. I hope it is visible. Okay. And remember, you can have the same kind of hypervisor on the bare metal as well. That's what without the operating system, you can have it as well. So even before you place this hypervisor on the any kind of desktop or the laptop, so make sure the configuration. So configuration related to the first and foremost configuration with respect to the RAM capacity. So here in my example, you can observe right here, my RAM capacity of my device, it is the 8 GB, right? So then as I am placing the hypervisor above this operating system, so I can place that hypervisor by setting or by allocating the RAM of anything, but not exceeding the 8 GB. So in that perspective, at the time of installation of this hypervisor, I have set as 6.5 GB, right? Then even the processor also. So you can see the processor of the operating system, it is the i5. You can see it is i5 CPU. So you can see this. So automatically, which will be set here. So you don't have to set anything, right? Because it's all related to the kernel, and the same kernel will be acting as a virtual kernel for the hypervisor, right? I hope you got this point. Now, so as I shown how to get the hypervisor, so this is the hypervisor, and from this I want you to note down the. I repeat, I want you to note down this IP address of the hypervisor, which is I said as a 172.24.14 and 169. Somewhere here, I let me note down them. So, right. So this is what my hypervisor. So just a minute. You can. I want you to note down like this so that it will be very clear for you guys as well, right? So I'll first note down the IP address of my hypervisor mission, which is 172.24. So this is what 172.24.14 and 169, right? 14 and 169. Now, so first, before I can place any VM on this hypervisor, first I should make sure that whether my hypervisor, the physical machines are connected or not. For that, what we're supposed to do in the sense, go to the command prompt of your physical machine, go to the command prompt of your physical machine, find out the IP address of the physical machine. So how to find out? So I hope you know that in the Windows platform, you can make use of ipconfig. In the Linux platform, you can make use of ifconfig, right? As I'm using the Windows platform, so I'll just make use of ipconfig. And from here, there are multiple adapters. From this, there is a one LAN adapter, which is Ethernet adapter. From this, please note down this IP address of the physical machine, which is, we say 172.24.3 and yeah, 172.24.3 and 217. So that's the IP address, right? Now let me ping from the physical machine to the hypervisor. I repeat, ping from the physical machine to the hypervisor if it is success. So here what I'm doing from the physical machine, I'm pinging to the hypervisor, which is 172.24.14.169. So you can see this ping, it is resulted with the successful messages. So I'm getting the reply from the hypervisor as well. So as I'm pinging from the physical machine to the hypervisor, and I'm getting the response from the hypervisor. So then I can conclude that hypervisor is connected to the physical machine, right? Now let us access this hypervisor from the client. So where is the client in a sense? For that itself, we'll be using this vSphere, VMware vSphere client to access the hypervisor, right? So now let me use this. So provide the IP address of the hypervisor, then followed by the password and the username and the password. As soon as you provide the username and the password, so remember this username and the password which is set at the hypervisor level. It's not the random one. Okay. So keep that in mind. So it is at the hypervisor, whatever the username and the password you set, the same password you're supposed to use, right? At the client as well. So this is what you will get. This is what you call as the inventory of hypervisor. So this is the depiction which I already explained in the PPT, if you remember. So this is what the host mission, which is actually having the hypervisor, and this is the client mission from where you will be accessing that host. So this is what we use, vSphere, vClient, right? And the host mission on that itself will be having the hypervisor. I hope you can observe this. This is the simple layer. You can see this is the layer of hypervisor layer. On this hypervisor, you may place any number of VMs. On this hypervisor, you may place any number of VMs. What we did till now in the sense, we had this host mission. On this, we have this hypervisor. Now we access this hypervisor from the client. Now our duty is to place the VMs onto this hypervisor, right? Now let us start placing the VMs onto the hypervisor. Before you place any VM to the hypervisor, remember first you're supposed to know where is the hard space, or in the other way, let's say that memory capacity or memory disk for the hypervisor, that you can get it from this summary tab. When you go to the summary tab, this is where you can see it is data store 1. In this data store 1, this is what you can say as a you can also call it as a hard disk for your hard disk capacity for your hypervisor. Now I'll go to the browse data store, and this is where this is the memory space or the capacity memory space which is allotted for the hypervisor, right? Now let us create the VM. As far as creating the VM, let us take up the simple example of creating the VM with the Windows XP. So Windows VM with the Windows XP. So first we need to fetch the respective ISO file onto this data store. So what we'll do, I'll open this data store by using the browse data store, and first let me make sure that or let me find out where is my source file. So you can see in the D drive inside this. So here is the source file. So remember the source file, which is ISO file, which I said it can be a simple file or the folder. If it is a file, definitely that will be the extension of which will be a .iso. Otherwise, it can also be in the form of this zipped folder where it will be a folder, right? Now let us get that onto the data store. How to get it is here. You can see which I already fetched here, but I will show you how to fetch it in the sense. You go to this option which is upload. Go to the option as upload. Click here. You will get the two options: upload file or the folder. Make sure you select the upload file. I repeat, go to upload. In that, select upload file and fetch it wherever it is available. It is in the cloud software, and this is what I said. So as I already said, the ISO file or the source file can be of two options. It can be a one ISO file, or it can be a folder with a multiple files in it, wherein it will be in the form of zipped folder. Okay, you select this and just go for open. So it will take some time where the respective ISO file will be fetched into the data store like this. So as I did it, so you can see how it looks like after you complete this uploading process. This is the means of what we did in a sense. You uploaded the source file into the data store. And what is this data store? This is the data space which is on the hypervisor. Okay. Now, as I said, so which already I did this. So even you can see. So it will take some time to upload that. Okay. See, the uploading is completed. Now let us continue further, right? Let me come back to the inventory, which I already said this is called as inventory. You try to remember this. On this hypervisor, there may be plenty of VMs. As soon as you install or you place any VM on this inventory or on this hypervisor, you will get the multiple VMs like this. But for creating any new VM, for creating any new VM, you should not select any other VMs, because it's a simple common sense. You can't place any VM on the other VM. You can only place any VM on the hypervisor, right? So in that perspective, select the hypervisor, right click on it, and go for the option as new virtual machine, wherein you are going to create the new virtual machine. And I'll select this new virtual machine, and at this configuration tab, you have the whether you want to select typical or the custom. So defaultly there will be a typical which will be defaultly selected, but I request you to go for the custom. The reason why I'm asking you to go for the custom in the sense, I'll show you that in the further 2 steps. So there is a necessity of you guys to select the custom instead of the typical. There is a major disadvantage if you select the typical and go further, you can't create the VM successfully. So only I suggest you guys to go for the custom and then go for next. And here, as usual, you give any name. I'll just give a WinXP1 because I am creating the VM by making use of the Windows XP. So I'll just say that WinXP1, right? So then I'll just go further, and this is about the data store from where you were supposed to fetch the particular source file, right? This is the major point or major step which you supposed to note it down. So you could have selected the typical instead of the custom. Defaultly, it will be in the version of what? 11, which is so VM. That's what virtual machine version 11. But is it affordable or is it compatible to your machine in the sense? No. How to get it? Whether your machine is compatible for the higher versions like 9, 10, 11 or not in the sense. For that, again, as simple as go to the command prompt of your physical machine. I repeat, go to the command prompt of your physical machine, and in the same way, however you found the IP address, in the same way type IP config. Under this IP config, there will be multiple adapters from which I want you to note down these 2 very importantly. You can observe here, which is Ethernet adapter, especially for virtual machine, which is VMnet 1 and VMnet 8. This is where you can make sure that your system is compatible only from the virtual machines version 1 to the 8, wherein here this 9, 10, 11 are not compatible to your system. So if you have selected the typical there, it will be defaultly 11, and you try to create the VM with the version 11 on the system which is not compatible. So finally you will end up with nothing. So because you can't create the VM, right? So that's the reason I told you to select there instead of the typical custom. So now select any version, either it can be 478, but do not select 9, 10, 11 because it is not compatible with the hardware. That's what I said even at the introduction time also. Whenever you will be creating a VM, that VM can be placed on any physical machine only with the compatibility, right? So select any version which is less than 8 and then go further. So here, as I said, you'll be creating by making use of the Windows XP Professional. Either you select 32-bit or 64 bits, right? 32 or 64. I'll just go further, and this is where the sockets, right? Whenever you talk about the sockets, so this is what I want you guys to know in detail. When you say that socket, in a sense, either it can be physical machine or it can be a virtual machine. So you're supposed to know about these concepts as sockets. Why I'm stressing upon this in the sense, there will be a CPU. However, you know that, right? So CPU, you can also say that a processor. Even if you don't call it as a CPU, it's just a processor. But what is socket in a sense? Socket is the physical connector from the motherboard to that particular processor. And those many sockets, how many sockets you can have in the sense, you can have multiple sockets to the single processor. I repeat, you can have multiple sockets to the single processor, whereas this coming to the core is again, it is something like, it is a function unit. It's a function unit for the socket, wherein you may have any number of cores for the socket, again based on the compatibility. If you want me to show you how, what is with respect to my physical device before you go to the virtual machine in the sense, I'll just show you here. Go to the task manager. So go to the task manager of your physical machine, and under this, go to the performance. This is where I want you to have a look into this. So as of my physical mission, the number of sockets is 1. So whereas the number of cores are 4, as the number of cores are 4, so I can have 4 processors. I can have 4 processors, so that you can um, even be clear. So with respect, when you see this is what I said: 4 cores or 4 processors, right? So this is what I said. The same way, so you can see 4 processors. So this is what I said. In the same way, for our virtual machine also, you can create number of sockets and number of cores. But keep one thing in mind here: with respect to our compatibility, you can have maximum of 4 processors. When I talk about 4 processors, you can have 2 sockets. When you will be having 2 sockets, number of cores per socket can be only of 2. Totally 2 into 2, it will be a 4. If you go with the only one socket, you can observe here. If you go with the only one socket, number of cores per socket can be 4. If you go with the number of sockets itself as 2, then the number of cores per socket can be of only 1 or 2, right? Keep this in mind. So I hope you guys are clear with this, so that it is, you can see, when I say that number of sockets is 1 and number of cores per socket is 2, you can see the number of processors are 2, because we say a very simple procedure, a simple formula: number of sockets and number of cores, which is multiplied with respect to the number of CPUs or number of processors. This is what I said. On the kernel, you will be having a CPU scheduler. For that, how many CPUs you have, how many processors you have, in the sense that is depends on the number of sockets and number of cores per socket with respect to the VM, right? So again, if you go in detail again with as far as sockets, then cores, even threads will also come into the picture. But as of now, try to understand with respect to the number of sockets and number of cores, right? Let me continue, and this is where I need to set the RAM capacity for the VM. So I am just setting somewhere around 1000. So this is the RAM capacity for the VM. I'll just go further, and this is the number of NICs. When I say NIC, in the sense, I hope you know that. So NIC is something like network interface card. So this NIC is the one which is, as the name itself specified, network interface card. If at all, if your device wanted to have a communication or the connection to the external world, it can happen through this NIC card, which is network interface card. So your device must have this NIC, which in turn connected to the PCI, right? So this is where the place where we'll be connecting the LAN cables. If you remember, this is the kind of LAN cables where you will be connecting the device, right, to the other switches or other devices. That's what I simply say, that to the external world. So what if it is wireless? Where in case of wireless, you will not be using any such kind of LAN cables, or it can be twisted pair or optical cables. We'll be using this kind of adapters. We will say it as transceivers. You can also call it simple antennas, where you'll be connecting. But NIC is must. Either it can be wired networks or it can be a wireless network. Keep in mind, based on this NIC itself, the addressing will differ. If there is only one NIC in the machine, in the sense, definitely there will be only one IP address through which you can identify the device. Later, after I set the NIC, now it is the time to set the SPSi. So first, again, let's know what is that SPSi. So SPSi stands for Small Computer System Interface. So as the name itself specifies, it is to provide the interfacing within the device. So that interfacing, so in the NIC, so remember, NIC it is for external interfacing, when you want to communicate or contact the external bodies, whereas this SPSi to have the internal communication. So when I talk about internal communication, the sense it can be communicating with respect to the hard disk available inside the machine, or the processor with the processor, like that. So connecting the parts of the devices available inside the device, I would say inside the same device, right? That's the CSI interfacing. So, and as per us here, there are 4 types. It can be bus logic, it can be LSI logic, or it can be LSI logic SAS, or it can be a VMware Paravirtual, right? You can opt any of these 4. So you can also make a difference or make a usage of these also. I just listed out here, right? So when you make use of this bus logic, because earlier it was the default one, whereas now we have extensions like LSI logic, parallel, SAS, and paravirtual as well, right? So you can select any of this. So defaultly bus logic will be selected. You can also select LSI logic parallel also. There's no there is nothing wrong in that, right? So then moving to the next step, which is whether you want to create the separate disk for your VM, or you want to use the disk which is already created by some other virtual machine. So that again you can make a decision. As of now, let me create my own new virtual disk. So I'll be going the step as create new virtual disk, right? So I'll select that. Then when I say that you want to create your own virtual disk, how much space you want to allocate? So I'll say that let me allocate for 18 GB. Let me allocate 18 GB of hard disk capacity. So then a disk provisioning. What is this disk provisioning? In the sense, disk provisioning, this all means to say that how to deal with that disk, because you said that you want a separate disk and you also said the respective space. So instead of 18, I say that 20, so that it will be round up, right? So if you say that 20 GB of hard disk which you want from the physical to your virtual, how to handle how to handle that disk? That's what provisioning. Under this handling, there are two major types. You call it as a thin provisioning and the thick provisioning. When you talk about the thin provisioning, try to understand the example. From the physical hard disk, you are allocating 20 GB as a virtual hard disk for your virtual machine, right? From that, so here I'll just take an example based on my example. So remember, if I am allocating 20 GB in the sense, from that 20 GB, if I am consuming only 1 GB, I'm consuming only 1 GB. I'm storing something which is related to only 1 GB in the sense. It means to say that I'm consuming only 1 GB. The rest of the 19 GB says open, where the other VMs can also make use. Whereas my maximum capacity is what? 20 GB. That is for sure. In that, if I am using only 1 GB, so it means to say that 1 GB only will be allocated for this. Rest 19 GB can be used. But it doesn't mean to say that I can't increase more than 1 GB. You can increase, but not more than 20. That's what thin. What happens in case of thick? As soon as you allocate 20 GB, even though you made use of only 1 GB, but rest of the 19 GBs also nobody can make use. No, there will not be any access to such 19 GB by any other VMs. That's what thick provisioning. So thin provisioning and the thick provisioning. Under the thick provisioning, again there are two types you call as a lazy zeroed and the eager zeroed. What happens in case of lazy zeroed? In the sense, there will not be any kind of cleaning off whenever you go with the new storage, whereas which happens in case of the eager zeros. Let me take up an example here. So this is the example for the thick and the thin. This is what I said. As soon as you allocate 40 GB for the thick provisioning, so there will not be any means of either you make use of 2 GB or 10 GB or 20 GB, but the complete 40 GB cannot be accessed by anybody else. There will not be any openness. What about in case of thin? In the sense, out of the 40 GB, you can observe only 20 GB is used in the sense, rest of the other 20 GB can be or may be accessed by somebody else, which is thin. Coming to the eager and the lazy zero. This is an example of eager zero where 40 GB allocated, in that only you are using only 10 GB. In the same way, in case of lazy zeroed also, out of the 40 GB allocated, you are using only 10 GB, but in both the cases, rest other empty space like 30 GB cannot be accessed by anybody. But with respect to the disk, so always the lazy zeroed. So whatever the lazy zeroed you have, that will be always started with the zeroth memory space, right? So that's how you'll be. You can say that eager zeroed and the lazy zeroed. That's the So that's the eager zeroed and the lazy zeroed. So eager zeroed. So you'll be having, I said eager zeroed and the lazy zeroed. So you'll be storing. You'll be allocated. It will be allocated in the disk space, right? So as of now, I hope it's clear with the thick, thin. Again, under the thick, it can be lazy zeroed and the eager zeroed. So I'll select thin provisioning so that even though I have allocated 20 GB, if I'm consuming only 1 or 2 GBs, rest of the memory space, let it be useful or let it be open to the some other machines. So I'm just selecting thin provisioning. So moving forward, So this is where as I selected the ESXi, so it will be definitely a defaultly it will be start from the 0. So then what about this mode of operation in the sense? So mode of operation, it can be persistent and non-persistent. When I say persistent and non-persistent in the sense, this is again you are supposed to know persistent. Whenever you talk about a persistent disk in the sense, by default they are virtual, by default virtual disks are persistent. This is also you can observe. As soon as I select independent, automatically what is selected? Persistent. What do you mean by persistent? Remember, whenever there is a changes which are happened, those are directly reflected on the actual disk, so which is persistent. What about non-persistent in the sense? Basically, the changes are not reflected; they are discarded. They're discarded whenever you go for whenever the VM is reset or powered up. That's what non-persistent. So that's the persistent and non-persistent. Let me go with the persistent itself, because whenever the many modifications are happened in the VM, let it reflect in the actual memory. So I'll go with the persistent, right? So then I came to the last step. So before you go with the finish, I repeat, before you go with the finish, I want you guys to select this edit. I want you guys to select this edit, tick this edit, then go for the continue. As soon as you go with that, you will get this multiple options here. These are the properties of the VM, remember. So out of which select, I want you to select this new CD DVD, because till now we have just set every parameter, but we have not given the path where the source file is available. If you remember, so where is my source file? In the sense, it is what's the kind of source file? It is the ISO, which is in the data store. So it is available in the data store. So go to the browse and data store 1, and this is the ISO file. The next P service pack to ISO file. Just give OK. So right after this, even though you are given the link, if you don't select this connected power on, if you don't select this connected power on, so even though you everything setup you did, everything perfect, but VM will not be created. Even I will show you that error as well. If you don't click this, if you don't select this connected power on, what will be the error case? I will show you that. So I'll just go to the finish. Okay, this is where you can see WinXP1, which is created. And now I'll right click on it and I'll go with for the power on. So it's power on. So it is switched on. So you can see the progress here. So let me open the console. So go right click again. I'll right click again and go for the open console. When I right click and go for the open console, this is where you can see the window of what is happening. So remember, as I did not select that connected power on option, so this is where it will end up with the error as operating system not found, even though you had given the link to the source file, which is WinXP, right? I hope you remember, you had given the link to the WinXP file, but it is showing that operating system not found because that connected power on is not enabled. So what can be done in a sense? Just I'll close it, I'll power off this, right? I'll power off. Again, I'll go to the edit settings. So again, I will right click on it, go to edit settings. In that CD DVD drive, and the path is already available. So I'll tick this connected power on. I'll select that connected power on. I'll just go for OK. And again, right click on it, power on. Okay, I hope you are following this. Power on. Again, go to the open console. Right click on open console. Now you can see, so it is started. So the actual process is started. From here onwards, it is a general means of installation of OS. So like however, you might have already experienced how to install the OS. So from here, it is the same process. Then, so in between, let me tell you one thing. So you can see I am trying to move the cursor, but you can't see where is my cursor. In such case, press Alt Control. If you press Alt Control, it will be released. So what has happened in the sense, I will go into this window and I will click. Then if I want to come out in the sense, definitely I have to press Alt Control. If not, I can't come out. So press Alt Control, so that cursor will be released, right? So now again, let me go back to that and follow the steps, whatever it will be showing here. So every steps will be shown here itself. So just keep following those steps. And here it is asking you to enter for continue, R for repair, F3 for quit. I don't want to quit, I want to create, right? So I'll just go for enter for continue. So it will be continued again. There are the options whether do you accept these licensing agreements or not, right? So if you want to accept, then press F8, escape for do not agree. You have multiple options. So I'll just press F8 where I'll be agreeing, right? So you keep following the steps, whatever it is will be shown there. This is where, as I just wanted to complete it so fast, so I'll be using the quick partitioning installation and with the NTFS file system. So you can make use of FAT file system also, but I am using NTFS file system, that's it. So there is nothing wrong, right? I'll just go with the enter. So now the actual installation process is started. Remember, if you want to release the cursor from any window, not only with respect to this window, if you feel that cursor is stuck, but actually it is not stuck. So if you want to release it, so just press Alt Control. So the cursor will be removed where you can, cursor will be released where you can move to the any other tabs, right? So it is happening. It will take a couple of minutes to complete the installation part. Okay. So press enter for restart. So I just pressed enter. As I said, you'll have to keep following the steps, whatever it is visible there itself. You don't have to worry much. Okay. This is where you can see it is showing that approximately it will take another 39 minutes for completing this task. In between also it will be keep asking you the steps, what are all the options to be selected and everything. But as I said already, so everything will be it's the kind of guidance will be given through the instructions there itself. Okay, you just have to follow the instructions which will be provided there, right? As it said that 39 minutes, so you just need to wait for. As I said, you will have to keep following the steps, whatever it is displayed here. So it is asking you to continue. So I'll just go to the next, and this is where you know any name and organization. So it is asking you just provide anything. So I'll just say that NCG and Reva. So you can provide any name and the organization, followed by the very importantly the product key you're supposed to provide here, right? So even I hope you experienced this at even at the time of installation of any OS as well. So now let me get that product key. So the product key is here. So I hope you can see the product key here. So just type that product key as without any spelling mistake. You are allowed to type it. I repeat, it is P37PT QP8HF QDGJG followed by BK2YY followed by HT2W3. Remember this. These are the this is the one of the product key which is for this OS which I'm just initializing, which is a guest OS. So in the same way, for every OS you will be having your own product key. So that's the respective product key is how to use. You can't use different product keys, right? Because it will throw you an error, right? So you keep that in mind. So the respective product key is supposed to provide here, and this is the product key which we use. Okay, so like this you keep continuing the steps, whatever will be displayed here as a kind of instruction guide. After having so many steps, so you'll get this, just go for OK. Now it is asking you to adjust the resolution. So whether you want to adjust or not, it's left to you. So I'll just give OK. So where it itself will adjust the resolution based on my window parameters. Okay, so that's the window resolution. I hope I don't have to explain about the resolution and everything right now. It's a matter of pixel capacity, right? So now it is about to start. So you can say that VM is ready right now, right? So it is just a kind of a tour which is it is going to take you. So that is for the better experience. So it is asking you whether to protect or not. So I'll just say that as of now it is not required. So I selected not right now, and I'm just clicking next and going further. Now it is for the checking for the connectivity. Definitely you remember your once a VM is created, if it is not connected, it is a waste, right? So it has to be connected, right? Now it is connected. Okay, now you can say, I can say that, are you ready to register online with the Microsoft? As of now, I'll say that no. So because as of now, I don't have to, because this is only for the demo purpose I'm using, so I don't have to register. So I'm just going further. So your name, as I already said, I'll just give us NCG and I'll go further and finish. Remember, my VM is, one of my VM is available ready right now. Okay. See, as I said at the beginning itself, what we did in the sense, so earlier, let me show you with this diagram. So this is what my physical machine, right? On this hypervisor is placed. And even I have noted the IP address, even I have shown at the beginning how to ping from the physical machine to the hypervisor, making sure that hypervisor and the PMs are connected or not. So both were connected. Now I place this VM1. Yes, I hope you got this. I place this VM1. Okay. Now let us find out the IP address of that VM1 which you just placed. I'll just go to this and as usual, go to the command prompt of what? Command prompt of the virtual machine. So go to the command prompt. How to find out the IP address? As usual, IP config, right? So find out the IP address of that machine. And what is this? It is 172.24 to 226. I'll just make a note of it. Okay. I'll just make a note of that. So what is that IP address? It is, I'll say 172.24.2.226, right? I hope you know this. So this is the IP address of the VM. So just for you to understand better, so I'll just decrease the font size so that it may fit well. Yeah, it is fit. Now, as I said, so that's how in the same way, whatever we have in the same way, you will have to fit the, I mean, so you'll have to create one more VM. What we did right now, we had created on this one physical machine, we have created, we have placed the hypervisor. On the hypervisor, we have created one VM and we have already noted down the IP address of that VM also. Okay. Like this itself, let us create, I repeat, let us create one more VM on the same hypervisor. Let us create one more VM on the same hypervisor. Okay. Now let us do that. How to do that in a sense, as usual, you go to the, you right click on the hypervisor, go to new virtual machine, go for the custom, provide any name, go to the select. You follow all the same steps. There is no difference in any steps, whatever will be following. As soon as you complete it, I repeat, as soon as you complete all the steps, whatever will be providing, right? So this is what we did. If you remember, this is how we did. We set everything. We selected whatever it is required. Okay. So what we did, we just go on to the continue. This is where we have given the ISO file as well. So from the data store one, we have given the ISO file as well like this. We did everything. So as soon as you do like this, you will get one more. So as of now, I have shown how to create in detail with the WinXP1. Meantime, I have put for WinXP2 also. You can see the status of that WinXP2 here. So you can see the status of the WinXP2 as I said. So this is also which I just created meantime. So what I'm trying to tell you in the sense, on this hypervisor, we are trying to create the two VMs. Okay, we are trying to create the two VMs. Okay, now this is the status of the second VM. You can see how to differentiate in a sense. I hope you can make a difference. This is what the WinXP1, the first one VM, and this is what WinXP2, the second VM, right? And it is under process. So let us wait until the WinXP2 is ready. Okay. If not, meantime, what can be done in the sense? What can be done in the sense? First, let us. Okay. Let me finish up this VM2. With the same steps. However, I already shown and explained with respect to the VM1 in the same steps which I am following for the WinXP2 as well, which is a second VM. So I'm not going with any different steps if you want to see, right? So I'm just doing the same thing in the different manner, right? So I can say that second VM is also ready. I hope you are clear with this. Okay. Now, by the time this is ready, so now what we're supposed to do? Find out the IP address of second VM. So how to find out? Go to run, go to the command prompt, and find out how to find out IP config. So this is what the IP address I got, which is, what is the IP address? It is 172.24.2 and 231. So I'll just make it a 172.24.2 231. What was the IP address of first VM? It was 172.24.2.226, whereas the IP address of the other VM it is the 172.24.2 and 231. This is the other IP address of the other VM, right? Now let us start the output process. Now let us start the output process. When I say that output process, so first let me show you how to communicate, how to have a communication from your physical machine to the first virtual machine. What is the first virtual machine? This is the first virtual machine. So I will go to the command prompt of physical machine. This is the command prompt of physical machine. So what I will do? I will do the ping. I'll do the ping. So when I say that ping, you try to understand this point very, very importantly. So whenever you talk about the ping, so what was IP address of this? It was around 172.24.3.217. I'll show you the different aspects of ping. You can have a note of it, 3.218, I will say. See, you can see I'm trying to ping from my physical machine. I'm trying to ping from my physical machine to some other machine with the IP address is this. But what I'm getting a destination host unreachable, right? This is the one of the case when the mean to say that there is a device. So there may be or there may not be the device with this IP address. So it is showing that the destination, whatever IP address you mentioned, that could not be reached. So it is destination unreachable. I'll show you one more example. So I'll show you one more example. So I'll show you one more example. As you can see, I'll say that ping followed by 172.24.3 dot. So let me show you something like 205. So when I do this, you try to wait for the results, whatever you get. So and let's find out what is the output. So you can see there, what are you getting? So you're getting as request timed out. So I want you to understand this in detail. This is the second option. This is the second option when you get or when you try to ping from your mission to the some other mission with respect to IP address. So you are getting the second option. You are getting that request timed out. Third case of ping, let me show you. When you give the IP address as 172.24.3.211. So this is the successful case of ping. Now I want you to understand from these three as to the first case, when I have given some IP address, I'm getting destination unreachable. It means to say that there is no device with this IP address currently. So I'm getting as destination unreachable. Second case, I'm getting as 24.205. I'm getting as request timed out. It means say that in a network there is a device with the IP address, but that device is blocking your request. It is not allowing your request, so only you are getting a request timed out. You are waiting, your request is waiting for it, but you are not getting within the time, so you're getting request timed out. Third case, when I'm giving this IP address was 172.24.3 and 211, so I'm getting the successful case of the ICMP messages. So it means to say that I can have a connectivity from my physical machine to the other physical machine with this IP address. So I hope you are clear. These are the three cases of the ping messages, right? Now let's move on. Now let us move on and show you this case. What is this case? It is pinging from your physical machine to the first VM. I'll say ping from your physical machine to the first VM. When I say that for the first VM, so what is the IP address of the first VM? You can note here it is ping followed by, I'll say 172.24.2.226. You can see this is the IP address of first VM, right? That's what I'm trying to do it. So what is the output? I may get it. Let's see. See what I'm getting. I'm getting as what? Request timed out. But even though there is a VM with this IP address, but I am getting as request timed out. So it means to say that the VM with this IP address is not allowing the ping request which is sent by the physical machine. So what can be done? What is the solution for this? I'll show you with that. So I'll show you with that. Let me go to the WinX P1. This is the WinX P1, right? This is the IP address what we did. Now even before that, I'll show you one more case as well. What we did, when you tried from your physical machine to the virtual machine, this is where when you tried from your physical machine to the virtual machine, you are getting a request timed out, right? So let us do the reverse case. From your virtual machine to the physical machine. I repeat, from virtual machine to the physical machine. So this is where my virtual machine. So, and let me use this for reference. Yeah. So from my virtual machine, ping followed by IP address of the physical machine, which is what? 172.24.3.217. When I gave that, you can see it is happening. So it means to say that. From the physical machine to the virtual machine to the physical machine, it is happening. But from the physical machine to the virtual machine, it is not happening. So even what I'm getting as what? Request timed out. It means to say that the request which is sent from the physical machine to the virtual machine, that request is not reachable. Something is blocking in the virtual machine. It is blocked in the virtual machine. So I need to clear it. So how to clear it? It is simple. So you need to clear the firewall in the virtual machine. As the request from the physical to the virtual is not happening, so there is a firewall which is blocking in the virtual machine that you need to clear. So how to do it? So you can just click here on this Windows Security Alerts, click on it. When you click on that, you can see the firewall is on. You're supposed to switch off. Then only the request can be entered. So in that window itself, go to Windows Firewall. In that it is on. So select off and OK. Now you can see the firewall is what? Off. As the firewall is off, now let me come to the physical machine. This is what your physical machine. Try to have a clarity on what I'm teaching. So this is the physical machine. Now let me ping to that machine, which is what? Ping followed by 124.24.2 and 226, which is IP address of virtual machine. Now if I ping, can you see now? Now I am getting the successful ICMP messages. It is not blocked, right? As I cleared the firewall in the virtual machine, so the request which is sent by the physical machine could reach to the virtual machine successfully. So I'm getting the success. So this from physical to the virtual and virtual to the physical is done. It is clear, right? It is clear. Now let us try. From virtual machine 1 to the virtual machine 2. I repeat, from virtual machine 1 to the virtual machine 2. Now let us try that. So first let me take those two virtual machines. So you can observe here, this is what the virtual machine 1, which is WinX P1. I hope it is clear for you guys, right? Whatever I'm taught till now, I hope it is clear. This is the virtual machine 1, which is WinXP1, and this is the virtual machine which is WinXP2. Now what shall we do? Now let me go to the WinXP1, which is virtual machine 1, and ping from WinXP1 to the WinXP2. Ping 172.24. I repeat, ping followed by 172.24.2.231. What is this IP address? This is the IP address of the virtual machine 2. You can note it, right? So when I do this, you can see am I getting the success message or not? You just need to make it out. You can see there is I'm getting a request timed out. What it means to say that the request which is sent from WinXP1 to the WinXP2, which is not processed. So it means to say that request from the WinXP1 to the WinXP2, this WinXP2 is blocking it. How to resolve it? Again, as usual, you need to clear the firewall. Before that, I will show you something else. So I'll just ping back. I'll just ping back as, so what was the IP address of this WinXP1? So when I ping it, which is 172.24.2.226. This is the IP address of the what? WinXP1. When I ping this, I'm getting the successful messages. But when I ping from WinXP1 to the WinXP2, I'm not getting success. The reason that I hope you remember, in the WinXP1 already we have cleared the firewall. So WinXP2 could reach to the WinXP1, whereas VM1 can't able to reach the VM2 because the firewall is blocking in the VM2. Now where to clear the firewall? Is it in the VM1 or VM2? Definitely it is in the VM2, because the request from the VM1 is not reaching to the VM2, so you'll have to clear the firewall at the VM2. Now let's do that. Okay, I'll just go to this VM2 again. As I said, you need to you just click here. You click here, it will take you to the Windows Security Center. So firewall is on. So go down. You will get what? You'll get Windows Firewall. So it is on. You are supposed to switch off. Just as soon as you switch off, you can see firewall is now it is off. Now I'll show you. So what has happened? I just switched off the firewall of the WinXP2 as well. Now I'll come back to the WinXP1 and I will ping again. Now you can observe this. I'm getting the successful messages. This is what I said with respect to the pinging process. If you get request timed out, you just need to clear the firewall which is actually blocking your request. That's what I did right now and which I shown. Okay, I hope you guys are cleared with the 3 steps what I did. So what we did in a sense, it is physical mission to the virtual we did, and virtual to the next virtual we have did right now. Yes, are you clear with this? Now let me show you the next case study as what if you want to deal with your physical mission to the neighbor physical mission. This is mine. Remember, this is mine. Whatever we are doing till now, whatever we did till now, everything is this. Now if you want to ping from your physical mission to the next physical mission, and your physical mission to the next VM, and VM on your physical to the VM on the other hypervisor, VM on your hypervisor to the VM on the other hypervisor. These case studies, now let us look into these case studies. Okay, as I said earlier, we have completed with this virtual physical to the virtual, and again virtual to this virtual. Now let us have a communication from your physical to the next physical mission. So for that, so already we have the IP address of your physical mission. Now let us fetch the physical IP address of the next physical mission. So I'll consider the next physical mission is right here. I'll consider this is the next physical mission, and from this you can make a note of this. This is the IP address of the physical mission. So which is, I call it as, so it is said that what is the physical mission IP address? It is that 172.24.3.211. So what I did, you can see this is where I just updated the IP address of the physical mission. Like that itself, find out the IP address of the hypervisor present in the next physical mission. So let us find out the IP address of the hypervisor. Hypervisor, it is somewhere here. So you can make a note of this IP address of the IP address of the hypervisor present in the different physical machine, which is 172.14.168, right? So I just noted down. You can see I just noted down the 172.14.14.168 is the IP address of that hypervisor. Now let me access. So then later, now let me I have already accessed through the client, vClient. So I have accessed that hypervisor from the different vClient, okay, and on that hypervisor, which is on the 172.24.14.168, on this we have created one more VM on that hypervisor, okay, Reva 1, and let me open that console, and this is the console. Now let us make a note of the IP address of that VM, which is 172. I'll say it as, okay, 172.24.2.250. Okay, so that's out. So as of now, I have only one VM on that other hypervisor. So let me only consider that, right? So I am just considering only that. Now, if you look into this on my physical machine, there is a hypervisor on my hypervisor. Two VMs were there, and I have already shown the communication between them. Now this is the other physical machine. On that there was a hypervisor, and also on that there was one physical machine, and that is IP address which I just noted down. Okay, now let me go with the simple step as first your physical machine to the neighbor physical machine. I know this is my physical machine, and this is the neighbor physical machine. So let us ping from my physical machine. There is a command prompt of my physical machine. So let us ping from my physical machine to the neighbor's physical machine. How to do it? It is ping followed by, you can see, ping followed by the IP address. What is IP address? Which is 172.24.3.211. So when I did that, you can see I am getting the success. So it means to say that from my physical machine, neighbor physical machine pinging is success. Now let me go to the neighbor's physical machine. There is the command prompt of the neighbor physical machine. Again, let me ping from the neighbor physical machine to the my physical machine. As usual, ping followed by my physical machine IP address is what? 172.24.3.217. So you can observe there when I did it, so I'm getting the success. So it means to say that this pinging between my physical machine to the neighbor physical machine, this is success. Okay, did you note this? Now let us try from my physical to the neighbor's virtual. I repeat, from my physical to the neighbor's virtual. So for that, first let me go to the my physical. This is the my physical. Okay, this is the my physical command prompt of the physical machine. So ping followed by neighbor's virtual, which is 172.24.2.250. So this is the IP address which I just gave. My physical to the neighbor's virtual, right? Is it clear? So let us try. So when you tried for your physical to the neighbor's virtual, which is 172.24.2.250. Now let's see what is the 172.24.2.250. Okay, did you see? So you are getting what? You got the success. It means to say that from your physical to the neighbor's virtual, it is happening successfully. From your physical to the neighbor's virtual, it is happening successfully. Now what shall we do? Now we'll go to the neighbor's virtual. So from neighbor's virtual to the my physical. Okay, neighbor's virtual to the my physical. Let me come to this neighbor's virtual. This is the neighbor's virtual machine. From there, let us ping to the my physical machine, which is ping followed by 172 dot. So we need to ping. We need to give us ping followed by 172 dot. Okay, there was error. Okay, you just make a note.
ping followed by 172.24.3.217. That's my physical IP address, if you remember. So what I'm doing, from the neighbors virtual to the my physical. So am I getting success? Yes. So I'm getting the success rate. It means to say that, so I can ping from, so this is also success, from my physical to the neighbor virtual to the my physical. This is success. Now let us go to the next step, as my virtual, I repeat, my virtual to the neighbor's physical. Now let me go take up any of these virtual. Either you take up VM1 or VM2. Okay, it's left to you. You can take up any, I repeat, you can take up any. So as for example, let me take up the VM2. Okay, I have taken the VM2. So as an example, and I need to have the IP address of the physical. So this is the IP address of physical. So I'll go to this ping followed by my, I am pinging from my virtual, keep it in mind, 172.24.3.211. What is that? It is the IP address of the neighbor physical. Okay, when I did it, am I getting success? Yes. So you can see I got the success. Mean to say that I can, so from my virtual to the neighbor physical is happening. My virtual to the neighbor physical is happening. Now let me go to the neighbor's virtual, this virtual, and ping to my, I'll go to the neighbor's physical and ping to my virtual. So I'll come to the neighbor's physical. I'll come to neighbor's physical. Okay, from here I'll ping to the my virtual. So ping followed by, so as I said, you can take up any of these two virtual IP addresses. Let me take up any one, as 172.24.2.231, which is one of the IP address of the one of the virtual machine. Am I getting success? Yes. So from this, let me come back to my diagram. So here you can make a note of it. Your physical to neighbor virtual and your virtual to the neighbor physical, everything is success. So we are done with all the cases except this, which is your virtual to the neighbor virtual. Okay, let me open open the my virtual. Okay, and ping to the neighbor's virtual. So ping followed by 172.24.2.250, which is neighbor's virtual. Keep that in mind. So this 2.250 is what? Neighbor's virtual. I am pinging from this mission. Okay, what I did, I pinged it from this mission. That's it. This is what I did. I pinged it from this virtual to this neighbor's virtual. So did I get success? Yes. You can see I got the success. Now what should we do? We'll go to this mission, which is neighbor's virtual, and ping back to the my virtual. Okay, we'll go to the neighbor's virtual. Okay, now let us ping back to my virtual, which is ping followed by 172.24.2.231. Right? Did I get success? Yes. You can observe this. You can observe this. What was the 231? It is this. Neighbors, my virtual and neighbor virtual could able to communicate. See, from this all case studies, which is your physical to the neighbor's physical, your physical to the neighbor's virtual to the your physical. So virtual to virtual, everything is possible when you place the VMs on the hypervisor. This you could not able to find out in the other experiment what we conducted earlier. Right? So I hope you followed it and understood well. Okay, this is the end of this experiment. So whereby all the cases are satisfied in this experiment. Okay, thank you all.